watching the station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Thanks for joining us for DC News Now at 4. I'm Mark Hall.
And I'm Tosa Fakile. Annalisa Gale has the day off. This afternoon, fallout continues from a global IT outage. We're talking hospitals, airlines, banks, and businesses across the country and overseas. They're all reeling.
And you're looking at some of the video of the chaos from Vegas to Times Square, where billboards have gone dark, to New Jersey, where planes were grounded, and even Rome, Italy. Airports where hundreds are waiting around trying to reach their destination.
And you're going to take a live look right now back at home at Reagan National Airport in Arlington, where there are also issues as well. And that's where we find DC News Now's Ben Dennis.
And Ben, what's it like over there?
Tosin and Mark, it has been quite a headache today, a nightmare for travelers. You can just take a look at the departure board right here. The proof is in the pudding, and it's not the cancellations that have proved problematic, it's these delays. Delay, delay, delay. Similar at Dulles, BWI, and across the country. Even doing regular errands today probably couldn't be done. Across the world, this blue screen of death. People blocked from using Microsoft products after an antivirus software company they use, known as CrowdStrike, said a system update caused the problem. So, why such a wide impact?
We have a monopoly in terms of Microsoft. It's global.
All DMVs here.
Forget about doing business at Virginia's DMVs. They announced closures in person and online. Drivers told about the issue when they showed up here in Alexandria.
What a day for my day.
Alexander Owens understandably upset about the outage.
Get rid of technology, let's get back to paper and pencil.
Meantime, in Maryland, their entire court system closed Friday. At airports, flights delayed for hours. Departure boards showing all colors of the rainbow. And a day after the TSA recorded their third busiest day in their 22-year history.
I have a flight on Tuesday, which I'm hoping everything is cleared up by then.
My daughter and my wife is upset, of course, because they still just worry, what should I do if the flight will be delayed and delayed and delayed. So it's going to be another one day probably stay in the airport. That's what they worry.
What comes next for what went wrong?
Right now, they're going to audit to see the trail of what was done with that fix initially with the update. How was it analyzed? They're going to spend a little bit more time. Who are the decision-making authorities?
And key here, folks, the problems that started this morning, they are continuing tonight. Those delays are persisting into the dinner hours. Meantime, all Virginia DMVs, all 76 locations, have since reopened. At Reagan National, Ben Dennis, back to you.
Such a headache there. Thank you. And we are continuing to look into possible impacts from this outage. In an update this morning, Metro warned of minor delays, but trains seemed to be running smoothly. Now, there does not seem to be any impacts to 911 operations. As for hospitals, Johns Hopkins medical facilities tell DC News Now they are experiencing minimal impacts from the outage. That includes Sibley Hospital in DC and Suburban Hospital in Bethesda.
Well, Virginia Senator Tim Kaine responding to this major disruption. He says lawmakers like himself are working to introduce new age technology systems and resources into everyday life, but they only work if there's not an outage. Kaine is emphasizing the importance of redundancy or having multiples of the same hardware.
Technology is generally our friend, but you got to have redundancy, because if the technology goes down, chaos can be the result.
Kaine says that some outages are unavoidable, but we must stay vigilant against cyber attackers. Let's get over the weather forecaster, Brittany Ward, in for meteorologist Tammy Madsen with a first look at the forecast.
And Brittany, just being outside and looking outside is definitely a better day temperature-wise, but it is cloudy out there.
Yeah, you know, we saw a mixture of sun and clouds through much of our Friday. The good news is we are dry, so enjoy tonight, because come the weekend, we are going to be tracking more showers and storms. So here's a look at satellite and radar showing you most of the area was quiet through much of the day. Yes, we had some passing clouds clouds, and we're still holding on to a few clouds across the area, but notice high pressure will continue to move off to our north as we head through your evening tonight, but overall your Friday plans not looking too bad. Temperature-wise, we have stayed in the 80s through much of the day, which is right below average for this time of year. We're sitting at 89 degrees right now in the nation's capital, 87 as you head over there to Lexington Park, 84 there in Martinsburg, 88 as you head over there to Cumberland. Now, the good news is those dew point temperatures, they are on the mild side, mainly seeing them in the 50s to lower 60s, giving us that comfortable feel. But as we head through your evening into the overnight hours, we'll slowly start to see those dew point temperatures creep back up, giving us that muggy feel as we head into your weekend. So what to expect for Friday night plans, we'll be holding on to the upper 80s as we head right around 6 o'clock, holding on to partly cloudy skies. About 8 o'clock tonight, we start to see those temperatures dip down into the lower 80s. Then we're talking upper 70s as we head right around 10 o'clock. Overnight tonight, we'll start to see an increase in our clouds, and then we are tracking the rain. So keep it here. I'll let you know what to expect heading into the weekend coming up.
All right, Brittany, thank you. Well, 60 counties and cities in Virginia are under a drought warning advisory right now. That's more than half of the Commonwealth. Included in the warning are Fairfax, Arlington, Loudoun, Prince William, and Fauquier counties. A drought warning advisory means a significant drought is imminent. Virginia Department of Environmental Quality is working with county and city governments on response plans, so be prepared to possibly have to take water-saving measures if you haven't already.
A Montgomery County family displaced after a house fire this morning. It happened around Neilsville Church Road in Germantown. Officials say that someone was trapped inside the burning building. More than 55 firefighters were called to the scene. Officials say that one adult was taken to a burn trauma unit with life-threatening injuries, and a firefighter was injured but is expected to recover.
Happening right now, police are searching for suspects in an overnight triple shooting in Southwest D.C. That shooting on Canal Street injured one police officer and 2 women. D.C. News Now's Randy Bass back at the scene this afternoon with new details. Randy, what can you tell us?
Yeah, Tosin, D.C. police tell us it all happened here on this popular Southwest D.C. basketball court right around 11:30 last night. As one game was coming to an end, officers were walking across the court here when one of them was hit by gunfire. 2 more women nearby were also hit by bullets, taken to local hospitals. Take a look at your screen now. This is the red SUV police say they saw fleeing from the scene here last night. Police say they immediately tapped into cameras through their real-time crime center to find anything that could point to suspects or any vehicles. Again, they said they combed through this footage, spotted that red SUV leaving the scene. The D.C. Police Union says that officer was not seriously hurt, and investigators say those 2 women had non-life-threatening injuries. The officer and one of the women were taken to local hospitals. The second woman showed up on her own later to be checked out. Again, this court is usually a pretty hot hangout spot here in Northwest. Not uncommon at all to spot pickup games or anything else, any events happening here in the evening hours. And right across the street is the 1st District Police Station. Anybody with any information at all is urged to get in touch with detectives. Coming up on DC News Now at 5, we hear from community members shaken up by this other tragic shooting here in the district. In Southwest, I'm Randy Bass, DC News Now.
Well, Randy, thank you. We're learning more about a Southeast shooting that left 2 men dead and 2 others injured, including a 2-year-old girl.
And the men have now been identified as Lamont Street and Jermaine Proctor, both from the DMV. That shooting happened Thursday on Alabama Avenue. Detectives believe multiple people got out of a car and began shooting at 3 men. The 2-year-old girl, who was walking with her daycare, was caught in the crossfire.
Those who live in the area tell DC News Now the shopping center that houses the daycare is a known problem area.
Calling on other government entities to step in if they care about the young people like they say they do, and to force that daycare to move out of that shopping center.
A 3rd man who was shot expected to recover along with the 2-year-old girl.
Now, according to a family member, the girl who was shot is cousins with 3-year-old Tyus Settles. Now, if you remember, Settles was shot and killed in May, less than a half-mile away from Thursday's shooting scene.
Changes could be coming to
And changes could be coming to school boundaries in Fairfax County, which have stayed largely unchanged for decades. At a board meeting last night, Fairfax County decided to go forward with plans to reshape district lines every 5 years. And now, while no lines have been changed yet, supporters on the board say it will help overcrowded schools. But some parents we spoke with are afraid of the uncertainty it could create.
Had stability in their relationships in their community. That's how you build resilience. You don't build it by having your mom and dad not be able to tell you where you're going to go to school next year.
Now, that teacher says this change is long overdue. FCPS says any future boundary changes will also keep student proximity, transportation, and equitable access to programs in mind.